Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Russia, Ukraine, and the West's assistance. So, at time of recording, the collective West are considering expanding permissions for use of some of their equipment. In fact, the decision might have been announced by the time this video goes out. This has led to a bunch of questions from y'all. Here's one of them, and it lets us get into a lot of other things along the way. If the West allows Ukraine to expand its use of ballistic missiles, does that mean Moscow would be within range? Would Putin be in range? And will this alter the outcome of the war? Okay, so the West is talking about allowing Ukraine to use a few systems like the ATACMS and Storm Shadow to strike deeper into Russia. This is probably a response to the delivery of ballistic missiles to Russia from Iran. First, a quick look at foreign policy considerations. Ukraine wants to be able to hit supply depots, lines, airfields, and so on in Russian space to take the fight to them. The West has been concerned about escalation. Keep in mind, Russia has already been hitting Ukraine in this way. The Ukrainians and some Western analysts have said this red line is much like Putin's other red lines like jets or tanks. However, Russia gets special consideration because they're a nuclear power. Putin has said, quote, "This will mean that NATO countries, the United States and European countries, are at war with Russia. And if this is the case, then, bearing in mind the change in the essence of the conflict, we will make appropriate decisions in response to the threats that will be posed to us." That kind of makes it sound like he would view NATO as direct belligerents and might act against NATO. That would be a horrible mistake on his part. Russia is currently fighting what could be described as the tech NATO would put in a yard sale. Russia doesn't have the capability to fight NATO head-on. Their most likely response would be to hit transfer points of equipment headed into Ukraine to signal. The most likely location to signal would be in Poland. I mean, the US and UK can only hold Poland back for so long. That seems like a really bad idea. But just because it's a bad idea doesn't mean Putin won't do it. The clearest example of that are in the ruinous chain of events that led us here. Now, back to the question. Would this mean missiles raining down on Moscow? Probably not. Sure, Moscow would be in range of some of the systems in some circumstances, but it seems unlikely that the West would permit those strikes for a number of reasons. First is the real risk of the escalation from strikes on the capital. Second is denying Putin the propaganda power of showing a strike on the capital on TV. Third, if there are strikes around the country, but not in Moscow, it will further divide Russia's elite from the rest of the country and create more discontent. Then there's the big one. Lots of the West would love to see Putin gone, but not in an uncontrolled collapse. They would want an orderly transition to the next leader while Swan Lake played. Remember, those nuclear weapons? An uncontrolled leadership vacuum might risk their security. Will it alter the outcome of the war? Not on its own, but it would create more issues for Putin. There is a risk of escalation attached to these decisions. It seems unlikely that the West would just permit unrestricted use against a nuclear power. But it does seem likely they open up new areas they are okay with being hit. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.